She had a list, not a grocery list, a life list. Married by 28, house by 30, career established by 32. She had planned everything, and for a while, everything was going according to plan. Then one year, everything on that list started falling apart. At the same time, the relationship ended, the job disappeared, the apartment she loved, gone. The friends who were supposed to be there weren't. She told me she sat on the floor of an empty room and said out loud, "God, I did everything right. Why does my life look like this?" She didn't hear an answer that night. But 3 years later, sitting in a life she never could have planned for herself, she finally understood what that season actually was. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't abandonment. It was the most aggressive preparation of her entire life, and she almost ran from every single part of it. You know this feeling, not as a concept, as a lived experience happening right now. Something in your life is not going the way it was supposed to go. Doors that should be open are closed. People who should still be there are gone. Plans that made complete sense 6 months ago have completely fallen apart. And you've been telling yourself one of two things. Either, I must have done something wrong, or God has forgotten about me. You have been carrying one of those two lies for longer than you should have, because what you are in right now, the confusion, the loss, the silence, has a name, and Scripture describes it in detail. Here is what the Bible actually says about the seasons that feel like everything is falling apart. The pattern runs from Genesis to Revelation, and it is consistent enough that once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. Every single person God used significantly went through a season that looked, from the outside, like total collapse before the breakthrough came. Joseph didn't get a promotion. He got a pit. Moses didn't get a platform. He got 40 years in the wilderness. David didn't get a throne. He got a cave. And in every single case, the season of preparation looked nothing like what was coming next. These are the 7 signs you are in one of those seasons right now. Sign 1. Things you thought were permanent are disappearing. This is the first sign, and it is the most disorienting one, because the things leaving are not bad things. They were good things, comfortable things, things you built, things you prayed for, things you worked toward, and now they are going, and you don't understand why. Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Here is what nobody unpacks about this verse. God is not saying, I'm mysterious, deal with it. He is saying, the distance between what you can see and what I can see is the same distance as the earth from the sky. You are standing on the ground looking at a closed door. He is standing in the sky seeing the entire building, including the door on the other side that is about to open. What you are losing right now is not the destination. It is the scaffolding. And scaffolding always comes down before the building is revealed. Sign 2. You feel restless where you used to feel settled. The same routine, the same relationships, the same environment, and it doesn't satisfy you anymore. You can't explain it. Nothing is technically wrong, but something feels off. Like wearing shoes that used to fit perfectly and suddenly don't. That discomfort has a name. It is called assignment. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8. By faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. And he went, not knowing where he was going. He went, not knowing where he was going. Abraham did not have a 5-year plan. He did not have a GPS location. He had a direction and a God. And that was enough to move. The restlessness you feel right now is not confusion. It is your spirit recognizing that you have outgrown where you are. God will not always give you clarity before He gives you the call to move. Sometimes the restlessness itself is the signal. Sign 3. Every attempt to force the outcome is failing. You have tried to fix this. Multiple times, multiple ways. You've pushed doors, pulled strings, made plans and backup plans, stayed up at 3 in the morning running through every possible scenario, and nothing is working. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Here is the word most people skip in this verse. All, not most of your heart. Not the areas where you have run out of options, all of it. Because here is the truth. You have not given God control of this situation. You have given God the parts you couldn't handle and kept the rest for yourself. And God, who is endlessly patient, is waiting. Not for you to figure it out, for you to stop trying to. The day you actually surrender this, not as a spiritual phrase, but as a real decision, is the day things begin to move. Sign 4. The timeline makes no sense. You prayed, you prepared, you did your part, and nothing is happening. And the silence is so loud, it has started to sound like a no. Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. The word appointed in this verse is not casual. It is a legal term, a set time, a scheduled moment. God does not have a chance on your breakthrough. He has a date. And the reason it has not arrived is not that it is not coming. It is because you are not yet the version of yourself who can sustain what is coming. The delay is not rejection. The delay is due to construction. God is building you that will not collapse under the weight of what he is about to give you. Sign 5. You are being stretched in ways that feel like breaking. Preparation is not peaceful. Nobody tells you that. They tell you about the promotion. They don't tell you about the process that produced it. James, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Mature, complete, not lacking anything. That is the destination. But the road to it runs directly through the trial. You are not being broken down right now. You are being built up. The difference between those two things is invisible from the inside. But God sees exactly which one is happening, and it is not the one the enemy has been telling you it is. Sign 6. You feel separated from people you used to feel close to. This one is the loneliest sign on this list. You are not connecting the same way. Conversations feel surface. Friendships feel distant. And you cannot tell if something is wrong with you or if something is changing in you. It is the second one. Galatians chapter 1, verse 15. But when God, who set me apart before I was born and called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me. Paul describes a separation that preceded a revelation. God set him apart before he revealed the purpose. The people who cannot go where God is taking you will naturally begin to feel distant. Not because they are bad people, because proximity requires alignment. And your alignment is shifting. This isolation is not loneliness. It is repositioning. Sign 7. Your prayer life is changing without you trying to change it. This is the sign most people miss entirely. You are praying differently. Not more formally, more honestly. Less performance, more desperation, less asking, more listening. You stopped praying like someone presenting a request to a distant God. You started praying like someone who actually needs him. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. The word perfect here means completed, brought to its full expression. God's power reaches its full expression, not in your strength, but in your weakness. The season that has stripped you of your confidence, your plans, and your self-sufficiency has not made you less useful to God. It has made you the exact kind of vessel his power can actually move through. Now here is what nobody tells you. And this reframes every single sign you just heard. Preparation always looks like the opposite of what is coming. Before the light, darkness. Before the promotion, the pit. Before the platform, the wilderness. Before the throne, the cave. This is not a coincidence. This is the consistent pattern of how God works in Scripture. Because God is not just preparing something for you, He is preparing you for it. And the version of you that exists on the other side of this season, the one who prayed through the silence, trusted through the loss, and stayed when everything in you wanted to run. That version of you is the one who will be able to hold what is coming without losing it. The breakdown is the preparation. The confusion is the curriculum. The waiting is the work. Remember that woman on the floor of an empty room. 3 years later, she told me she would not trade that season for anything. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. Deeply. But because every single thing that was left made room for something she never could have built for herself. She stopped calling it the year everything fell apart. She started calling it the year everything was cleared. Say this out loud. Right now. I am not forgotten. I am not being punished. I am being prepared. Everything being removed is making room. Everything being delayed is being aligned. God sees what I cannot see, and I trust the process even when I cannot see the purpose. If someone comes to your mind, someone sitting in a season that feels like loss right now, someone who needs to hear that what they are in has a name and a purpose, send this to them. Not tomorrow. Right now. That thought was not random.